Discovery approach learning helps students to learn to work together to solve problems, collaborate, and communicate effectively. The Spring ISD schools using Discovery approach learning during the 2013-14 school year are Hirsch Elementary, Marshall Elementary, Meyer Elementary, Dewitt Middle School, Robertson Middle School of Choice, Spring High School, and the Carl Wunschie Senior High School. Marshall Elementary School and Spring ISD has hosted many school districts from throughout Texas, sharing their model of Discovery approach learning.
Well, the students this week have been working on research for a project. We had Mrs. Smith from the Spring Historical Society come out and talk to the kids about what spring was like in the old days. She's given the kids a problem. They are going to create a book all about Texas and what Texas was like in the past. But before they can make their book, they have to know about non-fiction text features.
If you look at this picture of the table of contents, you would find chapter 1 on page 3, chapter 2 on page 11.
One kid's doing table of contents, one kid's doing glossary, captions, headings, things like that.
It tells you what the picture is, and it describes the picture. And I have an example for you right here.
And now those kids are presenting to the other kids.
What did you learn from index?
So the kids are rotating through different stations.
Without looking at your paper. Oh.
And the students are teaching the kids. I can just say that my students love their projects. They're challenged, they're enriched by the projects. They are completely on task and engaged. It's just a totally new way of learning, and they do such a tremendous job with it.
They are finishing up completing a Black History project.
Where you may find lots of details about him, so you could do a bubble map.
And they had certain project requirements that they had to put on their board.
So what's our first fact? We could put when he was born.
And then I'm going to go to 1873, where her parents died.
Yeah, we definitely need to write all these.
So they plan out the steps that they're going to take to complete their project. And then they go into their research work, where they come up with their research questions.
Yeah, there we go.
They divide it up into tasks, and then they share the information with one another.
Okay, so he was born on May 10th, 1837.
That engagement level makes it so much higher because they are discovering their own work instead of somebody giving it to them. They have soft skills that they're graded on. They're graded on collaboration, critical thinking, responsibility, communication, and creativity. So we talk about those skills every day, and it'll, take them on later in life when they have a job. They have to have, responsibility on their own, and then they have to collaborate with coworkers. So we feel like here in the elementary school, we're promoting that because they work in teams daily and they have to problem solve and work out their problems.
Project is on creating a board game using fractions.
Look.
Each table they're researching things on fractions.
Let's start writing.
And they're also completing a do-it-yourself activity.
Which fraction of the apples are green?
So kind of check for understanding. I've done a couple workshops on fractions already. Our workshop today is on what?
Fractions on number line.
Okay, fractions on a number line. All right, so I'm just kind of checking their understanding. Do they understand what I've taught so far? We know we're at 0.
And then 1 over here.
And then 1 over here.
It's just the same
Okay.
thing. It's the same thing, but it's cut in 4.
Once they get all their research complete, they're going to start brainstorming ideas for a board game, and they're going to take the information that they've learned to create questions for their board game. They're very engaged. They're very on task. There's very few discipline problems within classroom time when they're in their groups. They're working together. They're learning from each other. And so it's just really neat to see the engagement and the excitement. And when they make a final product and they get to present their information, they retain it very well because they know they have to present it.
We're in the end of the project. It was to investigate alternative energy sources.
There's solar energy.
We still need the room for the wind one.
Oh, yeah.
Geothermal and biomass.
For the discovery approach learning, we first start with the driving question. So it's a problem that they had to solve. So how is it that our school can use more alternative energies? And then they create their knows and need to knows. What do you know about alternative energies? What do you need to know?
Wind turns turbine blade, and I put mechanical inside.
Exactly. Their need to knows are then turned into research questions, and then they use a task list, and they assign each other the different tasks of research researching and finding out the answers they need to accomplish their goal.
Right here?
We're going to invite the architect company.
There we go.
And they're actually going to come and critique our students' creativity and ideas for how alternative energy resources could be used.
And then like this.
Their level of confidence absolutely soars. They become more confident, they become more skilled at presenting their thoughts. The soft skills they learn really help them become more well-rounded individuals for their adult lives. Not just a test, not just a worksheet. It's the real deal, things that they're going to be able to use in the workforce as they grow older.